Hi, I'm Jason Hurt, and this is Under the Hood Podcast. And today, man, I tell you what, I've been waiting for this one for sure. I've got my good friend, brother in Christ, family member, Keven Washington with me today.
How y'all doing?
Yes, Keven, welcome, my friend.
Yes.
I am so glad that you're here.
Thank you for having me.
You know it, man. This is so I will tell you, this is what's up. I met you just a couple months ago,
yes,
so we don't
sir.
have long history. I feel like we do because we connected instantly.
Right.
But literally, I think it was the first week of May that I was able to sit down at a coffee shop, right,
Yes,
and
sir.
get to know you and your story. And I walked away, man, and I'm not, this is coming from an authentic place. I was a different man. Just because I was just like, Lord, you are so good, and how you bring people together and how you're working through people and just what he's doing with you.
Yes, sir.
Wow.
Oh,
so
man.
we're going to get into it because, man, there's richness there.
Yes, sir. You've
And
been
so-
so good to me.
Man, can we just kind of go back? So I want to start off.
Okay.
There's a lot of places I kind of want to go, but we may have to do a part two.
All right.
I want to start off by taking us back, and not like, I would just say you started off, I think, in your high school kind of, 20s. Maybe start there as far as your story and just kind of tell us what you've been through, because you've been through some stuff, and how you grew up.
Ooh. It's been a tough road, but I take it back to high school. High school, senior year of high school, I went to the penitentiary. Got involved with the wrong crowd, hanging around the wrong guys, but I go to the penitentiary. I was the youngest guy in the penitentiary at that time, so I think it might have been one other person.
Right.
But I make it through there. I get out of the penitentiary. Well, no, let me it's something before that touched me, that got me to the penitentiary.
Okay. What's up?
When I was in school, I was dating a female by the name of Kenyatta Bush.
Okay.
And she came up missing from school one day. She got kidnapped or whatever from school. So that just put me on a whole different, mindset where I really didn't care no more. I was like, man.
Because she was close? You guys were close?
Yeah, we was close.
Okay.
That was like my heart, saying she motivated me to do everything, to make every move, and she was just something special to me, at the time. But when she came up missing and, end up, they found her at a park or something, it was like a hate crime or something, I don't know, at that time. So it just took me to a whole different, level. Right. But I started running the streets and hanging around the wrong crowd and end up in the penitentiary. My senior year of high school, they sent me to jail. But when I get out of jail, it was like, okay, here I am. But I still ain't healed from what I went through.
Right. Right. You still think
I started back doing the things that I was doing before I went.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So then, as time went on, me and my wife now had a son that had passed away from Guillain-Barré. This was probably like the 2000 now.
2000. How old was he?
He was 6.
Oh, okay.
6 years old. We had took him in for a flu shot, and it went down from there. You know what I'm saying? The flu shot to us, it was the flu shot. But I don't know. They said, during that time, they was like, everybody was born with cancer cells. It's just your immune system fight it off. But
right.
He passed away from Guillain-Barré, which was a form of cancer from the brain. That took his life at the age of 6. He was about to be 7. But then my grandma passed away. Then my auntie. Then my mom. It was just so much at once. Just kept on going. And I'm like, man, this is crazy. I don't know what to do.
Right.
But
so you just experienced a lot of death.
A lot.
Yep. And how did you process that?
I couldn't, you know what I'm saying? Like, I wanted to cry, but I couldn't. For some reason. I don't know. I didn't cry and really didn't start, grieving until I had a conversation with my dad. And me and my dad had never talked, ever.
Wow. When was this? What year? Do you remember?
This was about, me and my dad had a conversation about last year.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Like last year. And from there on, it's just, that's when I started thinking about all the people that passed away and that, you know what I'm saying? But I just started crying. I had never cried ever. I'm like, man, what's wrong with me? I'm human. Everybody's supposed to cry.
Right.
I never cried, ever. You know what I'm saying? Until me and my dad had a conversation, and he was telling me about what went on with him and my mom, which I never knew until my mom was trying to tell me something on her deathbed when she passed away in 2016 that I need to stop holding grudges against my dad. I'm like, now you want to say that?
Right.
Like, me and this man I've been mad at this man for years, because I felt like he never been there for me. But I see you was the reason why he never been there. Now you want to tell me that, but
wow.
I still didn't talk to him after she told me that. I still didn't.
Right.
But last year he called me and was like, man, we need to talk. I'm like, what you want to talk about, man?
Right.
So we finally had a talk, and that's when I broke down and started crying. Like, man, this is crazy. I mean, I couldn't stop it.
Right.
And then I'm listening to this song by Yolanda Adams, Open Up Your Heart. I'm like, oh, man, this is, what's going on? I'm like,
right.
I always been a church type of person, but I never really went to church.
Yeah.
But I pray and all that, but
yeah,
I didn't know my Bible really.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That's one thing that I want to learn is my Bible. I'm like, man, because that man been so good to me. I'm like,
come on.
I done made it through a kidney transplant.
Right.
After all this, 2021.
Okay. Because and I don't mean to interrupt. So you, just going back, you come out of the penitentiary and you're still running the streets.
Yes,
you're
sir.
still running. You're still hustling. You're doing what you just grew up to know to do. Right.
Right.
And so you get to this point in 2021. So this has been going on. I mean, from when did you get out of penitentiary? What year?
In 94.
94. So, I mean, you were running hard a long time.
Oh, a long time.
A long time. So you get...
Yes.
Okay. So you get to 2021.
And I get a transplant. Well, before 2021, 3 years before that, so 2018, I say 2017, I found out I was in kidney failure.
Okay.
2017, I found out after my mom passed away. Found out I was in kidney failure and I was a diabetic.
Okay.
And I didn't know neither one, but the diabetes come from my dad's side of the family, but I didn't know him, so I didn't know nothing about it.
Right.
And then I go to the hospital one day, and my doctor, he asked me, he was like, man, do you know what's in your system? And I'm like, man, doc, I'm gonna keep it 100 with you.
Right.
I've been getting exotically high since high school.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? On a daily.
Right.
Every day, all day. You know what I'm saying? Well, he said, well, you need to stop because you're in kidney failure, you diabetic, you high blood pressure. He was like, you trying to kill yourself. I'm like, what? I'm like, no, not that. So...
Thank you so much for listening to the Under the Hood podcast. We just wanted to take a quick second to communicate something that is at the heart and center of our organization, and that is the gospel of Jesus. We are a ministry before we are a business, organization, nonprofit, everything. We remove transportation barriers to demonstrate God's love. And God's love to us is that while we were all sinners, all of us, every single one of us, born into sin, desperate in need of a Savior, God sent His only Son because He so loved the world. That means me, that means you listening to to this podcast and everybody else as well, if you've sensed that there's something missing in your life, and I know that I have, and we all at Chariots for Hope know that we have as well, we encourage you, get to know who Jesus is, not just as this religious figure that maybe a lot of people have communicated to you over time that he might be, but really as a father, a friend, and a savior. Ultimately, salvation costs nothing. Jesus is for you. He wants a relationship with you, and he wants to start today. If you have questions, or if you want to know more, if you're interested even a little bit, we would like for you to reach out to us. Thanks for listening to me for a second. Now back to the podcast.
After that, I started dialysis.
You did, okay.
But at first, they wouldn't let me on dialysis because I didn't have no insurance. I didn't have, no money or nothing for it. You know what I'm saying? So, but at that time, my wife was working at, my ex-wife, she was working at Mutual of Omaha.
Okay.
So we had to get married for me to get on her insurance.
Okay.
So I got on her insurance, and then they put me on dialysis. I started doing dialysis. So
okay.
For 3 years. Then 2021 came. I got a kidney transplant. And then I'm going on the 4th year now. 4th year of a kidney recipient.
Wow.
Kidney transplant recipient, and everything been going good. So
explain that process. And so when you had to go on the list, obviously, yes. And how long did it take to actually find a recipient?
Well,
or a donor?
Since I started dialysis in 2017, they said it pushed me up on the list.
Okay. So 17, you start dialysis, pushed you up on the list, but it wasn't until 21 they actually found a donor.
You're right.
Wow.
It wasn't until 21 until they actually found a donor.
And I know from us talking in that coffee shop, that was a defining moment for you.
Man.
Where your eyes opened up after that and you just started giving thanks to God.
Man.
Like for saving you, for keeping you alive. Kind of, can you talk a little bit about that?
Yes, because at first I felt like, when they first told me I was in kidney failure, I felt like it's my time.
Right.
And then, me being from the street and doing everything I was doing, I was like, well, if it's my time, it's my time.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I'm going to go. But my ex-wife, she was like, no, you got grandkids, you got kids, you're going to fight for it. We're going to make it happen. So I was like, okay. So, I'm like, I'm going to give it a fight. You know what I'm saying? And then that man upstairs came down and touched me and was like, you were fighting for this. You know what I'm saying?
That's
like,
right. You're worthy.
You worthy. You know what I'm saying? Like, man, come on. Let's get it together. You know what I'm saying? I want you to better yourself. And that's what my mindset was. Once I got the kidney transplant, I wanted to better myself.
Right.
Like, I didn't want to do the same things that I was doing.
Right.
Plus he took it away from me, like everything. I wasn't no hustling, wasn't no running the streets, none of that. He took all that away from me, made me sit down and think about what I wanted to do.
Wow.
And I was like, man, okay.
So that desire completely went away. You were forced to kind of just sit there and say, what's this life about? Where am I going?
Yes, sir.
And is that, would you say that was your moment where you completely surrendered to Christ? Where you just said, Lord, I'm yours, use me?
You know what? I prayed, and I told him in my prayer, I asked him, I was like, I'm going to let you drive this car. Wherever you pull up at, that's where I'm going to get out at.
Come on.
And that's how I ended up in going back to school to get my high school diploma.
Yeah, let's talk about that because that's a pretty cool moment.
Yes, sir.
So you just, all of a sudden, you have this come to Jesus moment. It was a health issue, obviously, that got you there. Eyes opened up. You surrender. I'm following. And then after that, shortly after that, is that when JP, Mr. John Parsons, came into your life?
Yes, sir.
Talk about how you got there.
Well, it was a friend of mine, Consuela Davis. She was going there because I was going to Metro. I had been going to Metro like maybe 10, during my whole time of my sickness. I had been going back and forth to Metro. And like teachers would tell me like, you look pale. I'm like, pale?
Yeah.
How can a black person look pale? She was like, something just don't look right with you. I'm like, okay. So I go to the hospital.
Okay.
That's when I found out everything. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, okay. But I went through 10 years of that.
Right.
Of trying to go get my high school, my GED at that time.
Yeah.
But I had a friend named Consuela Davis. She was going up to the Goodwill, and she was like, you need to come up here. You need to come up here. They're good people. They teach you. And ooh, I'm like, what? I'm like, all right. So I go up there one day, and Miss Jane, James Byers, she was up there, and I talked to her. She was like, well, yes, we can sign you up, and then she was like, I'm going to introduce you to Mr. John Parson. He do the adult education. I'm like, what? Like, okay. I was like, I heard of that. I heard of the street school.
Yeah.
I heard of that, but I never went. You know what I'm saying? But once I met them, it was a whole different ball game.
Was it?
I seen just nothing but positivity. And I'm telling them, I'm like, man, I've been around negative all my life. That's all I know is negativity.
Right. You were yeah.
That's all I really know is just big homies that you calling, like my big homies, like teaching me all how to sell dope, how to run the block, how to, get over, hustle people and stuff like that. And I'm like,
right.
I don't want to be a part of that no more.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I want to switch the game up. You know what I'm saying?
It seems like God was dropping in, like you said, positive, encouraging moments, circumstances, people. JP was one of those. Miss Jane was one of those. And I know you had told me, and this touched me, where it's like, I grew up hustling. I grew up, with certain beliefs, right? About certain things, certain people, races, white people.
Right.
And you were able to go ahead and see for the first time real, true, authentic people that loved you for who you were, right?
Real
and I'm not saying you didn't have that in your life prior, but that especially I would say probably from a white perspective, right?
Yeah, but I didn't.
Right.
I didn't have it in my life. Like I was telling you, I'm like, me and white people, we really didn't talk to each other. Like, I wouldn't talk to them, they wouldn't talk to me.
Right.
I don't know. I had a look about myself. I don't know if they probably had a look about themselves, but I don't know. We never communicated until I met Mr. John and Miss Jane. Once I met them, I knew it was a whole different program.
Wow.
I was like, man, they been nothing but a blessing to me.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? They keep me motivated. They keep me on a positive track. You know what I'm saying? They keep all positivity in my mind.
Right.
When I get to thinking negative, I just look at them.
Yeah.
And I see my grandma, especially in Miss Jane. She'll give you that look like your grandma give you, like, boy, you better straighten up. I mean, you get it right. Like,
you do what she says,
ma'am.
right?
Yes, ma'am. All right. I'll move this way.
Right.
Or Mr. John, he'd be like, man, come on, man. I'm like, all right, Mr. P.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
That's right.
I'm like, man, they been nothing but like mother and father figures to me.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying?
And it was Mr. John, JP, that actually referred you to us.
Yes.
Which I'll forever be grateful for, because I got a new friend.
Man.
You're amazing. And so I know, talk a little bit about up to that point. So you're on this new road, right? And so doing life is hard anyway, especially coming from the streets. I mean, you're battling temptation constantly. Right? Trials and tribulations, and just I'm trying to do the right thing now. And you're surrounding yourself and you're making the right choices. But then, obviously bringing it back to our ministry and transportation, I mean, talk a little bit up until the day that you got the car, the struggles with not having, because you had a car, but now you don't. You're doing it right. You're trying to get around. Talk about a little bit about the struggles of just not having a car and trying to do life.
Well, it was tough because I had to Uber, catch the bus, but I had a car, but me and my significant other, we had got into it, so I didn't want nothing to do with the car no more. I'm like, man, I'm cool.
Right. You gave it to her.
So I gave it back.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Take this back. And now I'm walking.
Yeah. And relying upon other people.
Relying on other people to get a ride, to, you know what I'm saying? Then, you got people that tell you, no, I can't do it this time, or I can't do this, or I can't do that. And I'm like, well, I got to get there.
Right.
So now I got to catch the bus. Or now I got to catch the Uber. You know what I'm saying? So it was just frustrating with that, you know what I'm saying? Because, sometimes the Uber
is late.
Yeah. And then they'll pull off on you when you coming out the door. I'm like, man, what the heck is that about? how you gonna pull over when you see me?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Oh, you got a 2-minute wait. I'm like, man, you still trying to charge me though?
Wow.
I'm like, man, come on, man. But
And it's demoralizing, isn't it? It's like you're constantly relying upon people and having to play that game. I mean,
Right.
was there times where you're just like, enough's enough? Like, this is crazy.
man, this is so crazy. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Plenty of times
Right.
where I was like, man, this is too much. This is too much for me.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But
Right.
I was like, I gotta get there. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, I can't make it happen. I even thought about getting a bike. Like I'm be riding a bike like they be doing in New York or something like that. I'm like, man, I'm give me a bike. I'll ride my bike, but
But you know what, Kevin? That's what I love about you, because you were in that stage. And you told me you were thinking clearly for the first time, right? Just because you're done with the hustle, you're done with all that.
Yeah.
And so you're starting to make good decisions. And that was a decision, like you said. If I got to ride a bike, I'm gonna ride a bike. I'm gonna do what I got to do. I'm gonna walk. I'm gonna get this. I'm gonna get to work.
Right.
And so that's just, for me, that's encouraging, because like you got up and you move forward.
Right.
It didn't matter what the circumstances were. And then JP, is he the one that talk about the moment when he introduced you to Chariots and kind of what you were thinking? Like, what?
Well, I had came to him. The honest to God truth, man. That man is such a blessing. I came to Mr. John. I was like going through it with my wife, about to get a car back and everything. I was like, Mr. John, I ain't gonna be able to do it. He was like, what you mean? I was like, man, I'm about to get this up. I gotta make me a phone call. I'm living out my car.
Right.
I ain't got nothing going on. I'm about to get my car back. So, you know what I'm saying? I'm a diabetic. I got to take my medicine. You know what I'm saying? I got too much going on in my life, though. I ain't got a place to stay.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? And she kicking me out. I'm like, man, I got so much going on right now, though. I got to drop out of this program and go back to the streets, though, Mr. John. That's the only way I know how to make money.
That's right.
I can't make money like
you
this.
had so much momentum going for you that the enemy came in and was doing everything he could to discourage you, man.
Knock me down.
Go ahead. I'm sorry. Yep.
He came in and knocked me down, and then Mr. John was like, what can I do for you? I was like, man, give me a job. Let me get a job. You know what I'm saying? He was like, man, I ain't got nothing. This all I got right here is the street school. This is it. I'm like, nah, that ain't my lane, Mr. John. I'm cool on that. I'm talking about driving, delivery or something. He was like, I don't know nobody to do that. This my lane. This what I do right here. I was like, all right, Mr. John. So I go back on the class, and I'm like, all right. So it comes to about 2 weeks later, he was like, what you think about being a mentor up here? I was like, like, no, man. He was like, you been helping him out anyway, because there was a young lady came in.
Okay.
And she went off on everybody in the building. Just going off on everybody, cussing them out. What? And I just pulled her to the side, though, and like, hold on, man. They ain't against us. They with us.
Wow.
We got to respect them. So she started crying. And then she go in and apologize to everybody. You know, and then when I come back around, I go to the bathroom, come back, and everybody like, thank you. I'm like, thank me for what?
What did I do? Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
You speaking life into her.
Yeah, you spoke life, and she done graduated.
Wow.
And she doing good.
Come on.
And she still to this day will call me, and we keep in touch with each other. You know what I'm saying? And ask me for advice. I'll tell her like, no, don't do that. Don't do this. You know what I'm saying? Let's grow.
Did you see that God was using you to minister to other people in that moment?
I didn't see that.
Yeah.
I didn't see it until Mr. John and Miss Jane told me. You know, and they was like, no, you been a blessing to us. I'm like, how?
Wow.
Y'all been a blessing to me. Y'all, and then so Mr. John was like, you know, what's the problem that you got going on? I was like, my transportation.
Come on.
He was like, well, I'm on this board with this Charity for Hope program that's going on. I'm on the board. You think you might be interested in it? I was like, yeah, for real. Let me sign that paperwork. Let me get that going. He was like, okay. He was like, and Jason is a good friend of mine. You know what I'm saying? We talk to him and woo. I was like, hey, all right, Mr. John, you know what I'm saying? But I like your hypothesis.
Yeah.
That's what I told him. I said, I like your hypothesis.
Because you're learning some
learn my new word.
New words. That's right.
He was like, what? I was like, yeah, I like your hypothesis, man. Your educated decision been on point with me.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? So, bam, I filled out the paperwork, go through the program, and here I am today with a car.
Well, let's talk. So I want to talk I want to take you back to the night of our big event. So I meet with you a week before. Mm-hmm. And just like to sit down and kind of you had no idea what was coming.
Man, y'all got me. Surprised me. I was like, I think I'm just going to a car show. I'm like, hey, what?
So we're at this event. I'm inviting you to this event. All along, we knew we were going to celebrate your victory because that's what it is.
Yes,
right?
Sir.
Like
yes,
you
sir.
have so many victories over the last year since 21, and I'm sure before, but since 21. And this was one of them, and we wanted to celebrate you and do it in a fun way.
Man, I appreciate it.
So we invited you to this, our Field of Freedom big annual fundraiser. Mm-hmm. You come with Mr. P and Miss Jane. You're sitting at the table because you think you're just there to see this car show and be part of it. And then tell us so when the moment came where we basically brought you in and surprised you, talk about that. Like, what were you feeling? Just kind of take us through that whole moment.
To tell you the truth, I really wanted to cry. Oh man, it felt so good. The joy. I was like, because when you called me and what's the other man name?
Robert.
When you called me and Robert up there, I'm looking in the crowd to see who's gonna stand up because he was like the next person name on his on the board. Get to come.
So you really had no clue at that time.
I didn't know.
Yeah, you're just thinking, who is it?
I'm like, who is it? I wanted to know who it was so I could be just like him.
Right.
And then you was like, Kev, turn around. I'm like, oh man, that's me. I was like, oh no.
Wow.
Man, God's been so good to me.
Come on, man.
Man, he been good to me.
So you just, it was a feeling of obviously joy.
Man, I was so happy, so joyful. I was so happy when I got in the car to look at it. I'm like, man, I done took the key out and put it in my pocket. I'm like,
and then went all the way
Mr.
home.
Mr. John had to come. He was like, Ken, we need them keys. I was like, oh man, my bad, Mr. John. I was like, here you go, man. I was like, man, I was just so happy. I took the keys with me,
But you can't make this story up like with Robert. I mean, it's just a beautiful picture of how God uses his people, right? Man. Like Robert came through our program, and he was one of our first 10. What? So this is almost 10 years ago he comes through. He's doing life. He's fighting. He's battling like you have, right? Yeah. He gets to the point right now where he's in his life where he's just, he's got so much momentum behind him. He's giving back to the community. And he was in a position, not a very good one, but a position to say, what do I do with this car? I remember this ministry that had a crazy impact on me.
Right.
So I want to give it back to the Chariots. I want to donate it because, man, they were huge in a very critical moment of my life. I mean, come on. And he's living. He's a single dad, Kevin, and so he's like paycheck to paycheck. He could have sold that thing and got thousands of dollars, man. And so he's like, no, man, I'm going to do what Chariots did for me, and hopefully it'll bless someone. And you're the person on the other end of that. Like, how does that make you feel?
Man, that made me feel so good.
Wow.
Because I don't know where it came from, but all of a sudden, I feel the same way.
Come on.
I'm like, once I get myself together, I'm gonna make sure a couple of cars come back to the program.
Wow.
That's how I felt about it. I'm like, man, I'm gonna make sure that program get a couple of cars for somebody else because that's been a blessing to me.
Wow. And then we'll bring you on stage, and it'll be you in Robert's position, and we'll bless someone else.
Right. Yeah, man.
So now that, and it's too early to talk about the car right now because it's still only been weeks away. But, with that sense of freedom and whatnot, I know, talk a little bit about you can breathe now a little bit better. You can get in and go where you need to go.
When I need to go, how I need to go there. And you know what I'm saying? It's just a true blessing. It's like, man, like he knew, that man upstairs knew.
That's it.
You know what I'm saying? What to do to get me, to stay on the right path.
That's right.
Because without the car, I just kept having them thoughts of, man, I need to get it together. I got to get something going. I got to get me a vehicle.
How am I going to
hollering
do that?
at all the other people, you know what I'm saying? But he just kept telling me because them deals wouldn't go right. Like, I had a couple of dollars. I was like, man, let me give you a couple of dollars on a car and I'll make payments to you. To my little cousin. He had a car, 90-something. It was an SUV. I was like, man, let me give you these $2 and you know what I'm saying? Then I'll make payments to you.
Right.
But it didn't go right.
Didn't go right because you weren't supposed to.
He sold it to somebody else. I was supposed to sit down and wait, be patient.
That's it.
And that was my thing. I wasn't patient enough to sit down and let that man work for me.
Come on.
You know what I'm saying? I was always, I gotta go, I gotta move, I gotta be mobile.
But you grew up in that instant gratification, that hustle. Like if you're not hustling, then it's like I'm not being productive. I'm being lazy. I got to keep moving. And now I think God's taking you through a moment, a season of just saying, hey, look, you got to wait on me. Like you can't lead. I got to lead. Right.
This is my program.
Right. That's
you know what I'm saying? That's why I prayed and asked him, wherever you lead me to, that's where I'm gonna get out and I'm gonna work. You drive the car.
Come on.
I'm tired of driving. I can't drive no more.
Wow.
I'm gonna let you drive.
Complete surrender.
When you stop and want me to get out, that's where I'm gonna get out, and that's where I'm gonna go from there. That's how I ended up at the school.
That's it.
Like, man.
Right. And I believe, and as you continue to get out there and share, it's gonna the levels of your story are gonna come out more and more. And there's people out there right now in Omaha and beyond that need to be encouraged by your story because they're living your life right now.
Right.
And so to kind of wrap this thing up and close it, just speak a little about that as far as some words of encouragement for another man going through what you went through, right? Like just some words that come to your mind of encouragement that you can give this individual to keep pushing forward.
And keep your faith in God. Let God lead the way.
Yep.
Let him lead the way. He going to take you where you need to be.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? He ain't gonna let you go no other way than where you need to be and how you need to go. Don't try to do it on your own. Because I tried that. I tried to do it on my own, and it didn't work. It don't work.
No.
You know what I'm saying? You let that man upstairs lead the way for you.
Come on.
And he'll make it happen. You know what I'm saying?
That's it. Yeah, that's
he'll
the main.
lead you there.
And would you also say isolation? Don't isolate yourself.
Right.
And don't surround yourself with people who don't care about you, right? That they're using you. Like you got to surround yourself with good, healthy community.
Right.
That's
positive
another thing.
People.
Yeah.
Positive people.
Yep.
Stay away from the negative. You know negative.
Right.
When you see it.
Right.
Stay away from that. Stay away from the negative and surround yourself with positive people, positive energy, positive spirit. You know what I'm saying? Because that spirit gonna come into you. All that positivity gonna come to you.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's gonna make a difference in your life. Real talk.
I could tell you this, like I said, and I think they just got a little glimpse of it. Our audience and folks that follow this podcast and other recipients and donors and supporters of why we all love you so much. You're just a breath of fresh air. You're a fighter. You're real, right? There's nothing fake and phony about you.
Can't be. You can't be.
Right.
Right.
And so just thank you for spending some time with us, for sharpening us. This is why we do what we do. It's just to be able to lock arms with amazing individuals like you who have been through some stuff that probably most of Omaha will never go through.
Yeah.
Right? And you're here. You're doing the right thing.
Man.
And we've talked in the car just coming up here. It doesn't necessarily get easier.
No.
Right? God gives you strength to get through it.
Yeah.
And you'll have some seasons where it's like, thank you, Lord, for that rest and encouragement. But it's not necessarily easier, but you got strength now to fight through it.
Right. It ain't so painful. Because it's painful, but it ain't so, the pain don't hurt as much.
Come on.
When you walking with that man, that pain don't hurt as much.
And he continues. And the more times that you go through the fire and get refined, the easier it is. So next time you're going through something similar like we talked about in the car, it's going to even be easier.
Right. Yes, sir.
Come on,
yes,
man.
Sir. Yes, man.
Well, is there anything else before we go? Like I said, thank you, man. This means the world to me for taking time out and just hearing Kevin's story, which is absolutely encouraging. It's a story of strength and just determination. Anything else you just want to close out on?
Keep your faith. Believe in him, because he's real.
That's it.
He's real. He been good to me. I can't say nothing else but thank you, Lord. Thank you. I appreciate it. You know what I'm saying? He done brought me from nothing. And I'm about to be something.
Yeah, you are something. Yes, sir. You are something, brother. Yeah. You're already there. Sir. You're just going to continue to grow into it.
Yes, sir. Trying, but keep your faith. Man, that's the best thing I could say. Because it gets tough. Yeah. Where you question it, like why this and why that. No, don't question the situation.
That's it.
You know what I'm saying? Let him guide you through. He taking you through it for a reason.
That's it.
You know what I'm saying? So
Like I said, just thank you, my man. I appreciate you. Love you.
No, I didn't know what.
We'll do this,
bam.
man.
I'm like, bam. Yeah.
I love you big time, man.
Yeah,
and I
man,
just
I love
appreciate
you
you.
more.
And thank you
Appreciate
for joining us and hanging out with us and
sir.
hearing Kevin's story. He is a perfect example of just, it doesn't matter where you come from. God can take you through all kinds of mess and nastiness and use you in a mighty, mighty way. And that's what he's doing with you. So thank you. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
See you next time.
Thanks for listening to the Chariots for Hope Under the Hood podcast. If you were inspired by this story and you would like to learn how you could be a part of demonstrating God's love by removing transportation barriers, we can't encourage you enough to go to our website at chariotsforhope.org. Thanks for listening again, and God bless you.